Benjamin Siegel, or Bugsy, remains one of the most recognizable names in American organized crime, remembered not only for his involvement in Mafia activities, but also for his entrepreneurial endeavors that helped shape modern Las Vegas. His flair for the dramatic, coupled with a bold personality, made him an enigmatic figure both admired and feared. While his life story is often steeped in myth, there is no denying the outsized influence he had on the evolution of gambling in Nevada's desert. Interestingly, Siegel is said to have loathed the nickname Bugsy, believing it trivialized his sophistication. Yet the media and the public alike latched onto it, ensuring it became firmly attached to his legacy. Siegel first earned his notorious nickname, Bugsy, from his volatile temper. Going bugs was slang for someone with a crazy streak. Yet this brash disposition also came with an unexpected level of charm and sophistication. Even as he operated within dangerous circles, Siegel was known to fraternize with Hollywood's elite, cultivating an image that balanced high society with underworld power. It was this unique combination of charisma and ruthlessness that allowed him to rise quickly through the ranks of organized crime. Rumors even swirled that he once contemplated a brazen plot to assassinate Italy's fascist dictator Benito Mussolini, reflecting Siegel's audacity and deep-seated belief that nobody was beyond his reach. Throughout his life, Siegel balanced ambition with aggression. He did not merely seek to be a gangster, he aspired to become a respected figure in broader business and social spheres. Whether attending lavish Hollywood parties or orchestrating high-stakes gambling ventures, Siegel refused to be contained by conventional definitions of a mobster. His vision for the Flamingo Hotel in Las Vegas exemplified this relentless desire to transcend the underworld shadow, ultimately leaving behind a legacy of glamour, risk, and tragedy. Despite his cultivation of celebrity friendships, he allegedly leveraged those same connections for investments, sometimes applying a discreet but undeniable pressure that reminded people of his gangster origins. Bugsy Siegel was born Benjamin Siegel in 1906, in the tough neighborhood of Williamsburg, Brooklyn. Growing up in a family of Jewish immigrants, Siegel experienced firsthand the hardships of poverty, which shaped his early years. Conditions in Brooklyn were often harsh, fostering a competitive atmosphere where young people quickly learned to fend for themselves. It was here that Siegel befriended Meyer Lansky, a meeting that would lay the groundwork for one of the most significant partnerships in organized crime. Together, they formed the Bugs and Meyer Gang, taking advantage of Prohibition-era opportunities to amass wealth through bootlegging, protection rackets, and other illicit ventures. This period marked Siegel as a rising star in the underworld, earning a reputation for being both calculating and dangerously hot-tempered. Yet even then, his taste for luxury hinted at future grand-scale projects like the Flamingo. Yet, even during these early years, Siegel displayed a craving for a more extravagant life. He was not content with small-scale hustles. Instead, he dreamed of bigger and bolder ventures that could propel him into higher circles of wealth and influence. This inherent ambition, combined with his willingness to employ violence when necessary, paved the way for his eventual alignment with some of the most powerful figures in organized crime, including Lucky Luciano and Frank Costello. As Siegel's reputation grew, so did his responsibilities within the broader network of organized crime. During the height of Prohibition, he helped establish a string of bootlegging operations, ensuring that illegal alcohol flowed where it was most profitable. His expertise in setting up protection rackets further demonstrated his knack for turning high-risk ventures into steady revenue streams, earning the trust of powerful leaders like Lansky and Luciano. The formation of the National Crime Syndicate in the early 1930s was a pivotal moment for Siegel. This umbrella organization brought together various mafia factions, both Italian and Jewish, into a more centralized, almost corporate structure. Siegel's inclusion in these high-level circles reflected both his capability as an enforcer and his promise as a strategist. He wasn't simply muscle. He also possessed a keen business sense, an attribute that would later prove essential in Las Vegas. Seeking to expand his influence, Siegel relocated to California in the mid-1930s. The West Coast offered fresh opportunities for gambling, especially with race wire services and other betting operations. It was also in Hollywood that Siegel's love for luxury and social status truly blossomed. He mingled with film stars through lavish parties and curated an air of celebrity that masked the more brutal aspects of his criminal dealings. This polished persona helped him navigate both the glamorous corridors of Hollywood and the lethal undercurrents of the underworld. Nevada's legalization of gambling in the 1930s caught Bugsy Siegel's attention as a golden opportunity. Where many saw a small desert town of modest casinos, Siegel imagined a high-end resort destination catering to the wealthy and glamorous. This vision was revolutionary at the time. Gambling dens were typically unremarkable establishments catering to locals and the occasional traveler. Siegel wanted to create a luxurious experience that would entice Hollywood stars and big spenders alike. Seizing this chance, he stepped in to take over the construction of the Flamingo, a project that had originally been conceived by Billy Wilkerson. Siegel rebranded it with his own grandiose vision, an upscale paradise brimming with Hollywood-style flair. Determined to make it a top-tier destination, he imported Italian marble, commissioned lavish decor, and went to great lengths to ensure the hotel exuded opulence at every turn. However, these extravagant flourishes caused the budget to skyrocket from an initial estimate of around $1.2 million to more than $6 million, sparking major concerns among his underworld financiers. When the Flamingo held its grand opening on December 26, 1946, the event fell flat. Construction delays and cost overruns had plagued the buildup, and the highly anticipated launch drew lackluster crowds. Rumors swirled that Siegel might have misappropriated funds, which stoked the ire of the mob back east. Despite the rocky start, the Flamingo eventually began to turn a profit, a validation of Siegel's core vision of a lavish Las Vegas resort. This project, in many ways, kick-started the transformation of Las Vegas into the flashy gambling empire it is today. Siegel's dual nature, an ostentatious socialite and a ruthless gangster, made him a standout figure even within the mob's notorious ranks. He lived life at full throttle, splurging on tailored suits, custom cars, and high-stakes gambling. Celebrities and socialites gravitated toward his parties, enthralled by his magnetic blend of danger and elegance. One might say he pioneered the concept of a gangster with star power, blurring the lines between criminality and celebrity culture. However, beneath this glamorous veneer lay a capacity for violence that was as notorious as his taste for fine living. While specific accounts can be gruesome, Siegel's willingness to enforce mob discipline through threats and force is well documented. His temper, which earned him his nickname, played a significant role in how peers and enemies alike perceived him. This temper could flare up unexpectedly, ensuring that few dared to challenge him directly. In many ways, Siegel embodied the contradictory appeal of gangsters in popular culture. He was generous at times, even rumored to make donations to local charities, and he craved public admiration. Yet, he never truly escaped the deadly code of the underworld. As much as he wanted broader legitimacy and a polished public image, the violence and danger that came with his lifestyle would ultimately catch up with him. His legacy endures as one of the most enthralling figures in organized crime history, part visionary, part villain. As the cost overruns at the Flamingo piled up and initial returns fell short, tensions between Siegel and his partners grew. Mob bosses back east, including members of the National Crime Syndicate, began to view Siegel's lavish spending with suspicion. Whispers about missing funds circulated, suggesting Siegel might have been skimming or mismanaging the money meant to finalize the Flamingo. This suspicion put him in a precarious position, as the syndicate had no tolerance for those who jeopardized their investments. On June 20th, 1947, Siegel was shot and killed at the Beverly Hills home of his girlfriend, Virginia Hill. The crime scene was brutal, though contemporary accounts tend to steer away from graphic details. What is clear is that at least 9 shots were fired, some shattering through a living room window in a brazen display of lethal precision. The assassination bore all the hallmarks of a professional hit, leading most observers to conclude that the syndicate sanctioned his murder as retribution for his perceived financial failures. In an abrupt and symbolic twist, several of Siegel's associates marched into the Flamingo just minutes after his death to assume control. The hotel turned profitable soon afterward, fueling speculation that the underworld found it simpler to reap the benefits of his grand vision once Siegel was out of the picture. Siegel's demise illustrated the harsh reality of the mob's inner workings. No matter how charismatic or influential a figure might be, no one was above the syndicate's capacity for lethal enforcement. His death remains a defining milestone in true crime history, a stark reminder of how quickly fortunes can change in the underworld. Even his funeral reflected that new reality. One of the most flamboyant mobsters in American history was laid to rest with surprisingly few mourners, as many associates feared public association with him in the wake of the syndicate's cold judgment. Although Bugsy Siegel was not the sole architect of modern Las Vegas, his actions provided a critical catalyst that would attract further investment from both legitimate entrepreneurs and other mob figures. By envisioning the Flamingo as a high-end resort, he raised the stakes for what Las Vegas casinos could offer. This shift from seedy gambling halls to glitzy resorts ultimately set the tone for the Strip's future development, drawing in tourists who craved an upscale, exciting experience. Over the decades, Las Vegas has grown into a global entertainment mecca, teeming with five-star hotels, world-class shows, and millions of visitors each year. Many historians credit Siegel's ambitious project as laying the foundation for this transformation. Despite his criminal background, his entrepreneurial spirit and willingness to gamble on a desert outpost proved pivotal. In that sense, he occupies a unique place in American lore, a gangster whose vision propelled an entire city into the limelight. Beyond the neon-lit skyline of Las Vegas, Siegel's story continues to fascinate true crime aficionados and the general public alike. Films, books, and documentaries have portrayed him as everything from a romantic anti-hero to a ruthless gangster. His legacy endures because it encapsulates the American dream in its most paradoxical form. A dream pursued through illicit means, merging glamour with danger. Whether demonized or lionized, Siegel remains a key figure in understanding the complex tapestry of organized crime's influence on American culture. The Flamingo Hotel stands as a physical testament to Siegel's grand vision. Though he did not live to see its ultimate success, he fundamentally altered the blueprint for Las Vegas resorts. In doing so, he helped pave the way for the glossy, neon-drenched playground that draws millions of tourists every year. His dream of a luxurious gambling oasis, one that blended old Hollywood style with the thrill of chance, continues to resonate in the city's modern incarnations. Siegel's sudden death underscores the immutable laws of the underworld, where even a high-profile figure is never truly invulnerable.